Welcome to Black Hat 2026. I'm Jackie McGuire, and joining me today is Tricia Howard. She's the head of marketing at Above Security. Tricia, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You survived a few days in Vegas?
Yes, barely, but we're here.
Yeah, I hear that. So you are head of marketing at Above Security?
That's correct.
What does Above do?
Yeah, so we are proactive insider risk management. What we stand to do is democratize insider risk for the masses of what was traditionally only available to the three-letter agencies and the large enterprise.
Yeah. So how do you define insider risk?
Oh, I'm so happy.
So just like me when I'm half asleep and typing the wrong passwords into the wrong platforms?
Yeah, that is part of it. So insider threat and insider risk are often used interchangeably, but actually insider threat is a subset of the umbrella of insider risk. So insider risk includes, like you said, like inappropriate use or using unsanctioned tools, shadow AI, shadow IT, but also the malicious. And nowadays, of course, the agents also. So they are insiders in everything but name.
Yeah. We're in such a weird transition period, and it's bizarre because now you have these things that can move at machine velocity, but they're doing human things.
Yep.
And they have a lot of times access to the same permissions and privileges that humans do.
Or more.
Yeah. So how do you think about that? How do you think about kind of how things are evolving, and are businesses keeping up with that?
Oh boy. No, I don't think so at all.
Dang.
To be honest.
I thought it was going to be good news. Man.
It's insecurity. When do we have good news?
Yeah.
No, it's not really the industry's fault necessarily. We didn't even figure it out for humans. So how are we going to figure it out for these agents, as you said, like moving at machine speeds, previously unthinkable speeds?
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, in security, we're always behind the eight ball. We kind of started behind the eight ball. We created the internet and told people to click on things, and then got mad that they clicked on them, and so we created security. And insider risk is it's so vast and it's so personal, and it's very difficult to manage in the way that the tools that we have pulled together, your DLP, UEBA, SIM even, they just didn't do what they said they were going to do. And so now that agents are a factor and are doing things, like you said, very elevated permissions, who's watching them?
Yeah.
They don't have managers. They don't have HR looking at them,
Yeah. And why do you think it is that the tools that we have don't work? Where do they fail?
Yeah, because they're trying to solve an inherently human problem with a purely technological solution.
Okay.
So insider risk is humans, right? Even with the agents, like they're still working on behalf of us. The DLPs or UEBA even, which is personal to me because I wanted UEBA to be doing what we're doing now 10 years ago.
That's where I got my start in security, was in UEBA.
Amazing,
so.
Okay.
Tell me what I did wrong.
You probably didn't. It was. It's not just about what Tricia does, what she clicks on, and even when or how. It matters why, and it matters what happened 2 weeks ago, and what we predict is going to happen a month from now. Mm-hmm. From a technological perspective, me clicking on a LinkedIn post and looking at a competitor may be completely separate, but whenever you add in the context that I was recently demoted, now that might be a different story. Mm-hmm. And so I think what was missing was the actual reasoning behind it. We had all of the pieces, but insider risk are not pieces. They're a story. It's a whole game, right? It's not just moves.
So how does Above approach that problem differently?
Yeah, so I like to say we're human-centered but AI-powered. So
nice.
Thank you. Our fleet of investigative AI agents that make up our arbiter.
So fancy.
Our arbiter engine, because we're all chess-themed, is doing exactly that. So they're always on. It's 24/7. They are looking, constantly re-reasoning, looking at multiple sources of telemetry that organizations previously just have not been able to see. And not only providing the data, because we have never had more access to data than we do now, but data's not very helpful unless you know what it means. And so we're providing that context for what it means. And on top of that, eliminating investigation time, because we're giving you a full behavioral timeline whenever there is something to worry about, whether it's malicious or not. And we can tell you that too. If somebody's, I was asleep and I accidentally put in my password wrong, that's fine. Or were you actually trying to do something bad?
Yeah. And do you do that with baselining, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's not baselining. I think this is an unfortunate thing that it makes sense logically that you would want to create a baseline and then look at deviation, but deviation does not equal risk inherently, and that's why we are flooded with alerts all the time. So no, it's not about baselining, because that's static. Policies are static, rules are static, human behavior is dynamic, and so that's how we're looking at it.
Okay. And what are the most common things that you're seeing right now in terms of, maybe not, is malicious activity the right word, or just like suspicious? Is suspicious less, it attributes less negative intent than malicious, because people don't always mean to do things that are destructive,
Yes,
right? It just
correct.
happens sometimes.
In fact, that's what we see the most.
Yeah.
It is not the North Korean people or that are. Of course, we do see that, but it's not as common. We see a lot of fraud, actually, a significant amount of fraud, and leavers, like flight risks, who are planning to take data with them.
Got it. So I make like a full backup of my MacBook before I go from one employer to the other.
You would be shocked at what people will do on corporately managed devices and browsers, and it is astounding. Mm-hmm.
Well, what is wild to me is there are still a lot of companies out there that'll ship you a MacBook and then have you sign in with your own iTunes account.
Yep. Yep. And then we get
large companies. I have seen this many times. That oh, okay, so you're just letting people back up to their own iCloud account and then wondering how you lost a bunch of proprietary data. I have an idea how you lost it. Yeah.
Yes, and then, we no wonder people are confused about personal devices and corporate devices. A lot of people use their corporate machines for personal use, and while
and vice versa, right?
Precisely. Yeah. So the lines are blurring even more, and we need to be keeping a handle on that, because it creates a significant amount of risk for an org.
Has BYOD made that more difficult?
Yeah, I think certainly, and post 2020, of course, where remote work is first a lot of the time. That's also adds some complexity. Another thing we see a lot is overemployment. So yeah,
people got 4 or 5 jobs, not doing any of them particularly well.
Yep, at the same time. Yep.
So you guys had some big news this week. It's Black Hat. It is the week for big news, and this happens to involve CrowdStrike. So can you tell us a little bit about? This is awesome for you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Tell us about your
Can you see how excited I am?
I know, yeah. Well, and I'm sure you got to write all the language too. As a fellow marketer, I'm like, not only is it cool news, but I got to tell the news.
Right. So we announced on Tuesday that we were actually funded by CrowdStrike's Falcon Fund. This is another extension into our partnership, and there's more news to come around Falcon, which we will be at as well. So be tuned in for that. But it's, on a personal note, I was the first employee in the U.S. here. We've built the whole thing from scratch, and to see a company like CrowdStrike care and to the point that they're giving us money, wow.
It must mean you're not screwing everything up. It's doing at least a few things well, right?
Just at least one, right?
Yeah.
But we actually work very well together. CrowdStrike is bringing in unbelievable telemetry to us, and then we are able to take that data and provide the intent behind it, I think, which is extremely valuable for CrowdStrike customers.
Yeah. And so what do you hope to do with that? How do you hope to see the next year or two evolve as you get this partnership off the ground? And
I'm excited to see our co-selling motions and more deeper technical integration. That's what a lot of the investment is going towards, is actually making the integration even more native and more useful for across the enterprise.
Yeah. So I know you guys have a pretty big presence here for a smaller company.
Yep.
It's so tell us about some of the stuff you have going on.
Yeah. So I mentioned we're a chess. Our brand is all chess themed. So we have.
Do you have the chess tables? Is that you? Okay.
Oh. So there are two of us here.
Oh,
Our actual brand is chess. The other company is doing that it was a theme for the show. But we do have a little mini chess club, and you can sit there and play chess. And we have magnetic chess boards, and we decided to go big this time because we are showing up in the industry the way that we need to be. Yeah. I think so. It's exciting to see.
That's really awesome. So if you were a CISO starting out today, right, and you're building a security team from scratch, what are the first couple things you think about with regard to insider risk as you're starting to set up your program? What are the first couple things you really need to do?
I think you really need to this might sound a little weird, but you really need to take time to get to know your team. So people are your biggest asset or they are your biggest liability. Yeah. And understanding who they are, how they work, and then from there, starting with the policies. I think it's very easy for us nerds to get into the technology and the new shiny tool and whatever, but that's exactly how we have ended up in the thing that we're in, which is a lot of noise and not a whole lot of solutions.
Yeah.
So I'd focus on building the team, and then beyond that, looking at what the landscape is and what is actually useful. There's a lot of shelfware out there.
Yeah.
So what am I paying for? Is it useful? And building from scratch, honestly.
Yeah, getting to know your team's not the easiest thing in a fully remote company.
It's
so
not.
I wonder, has that also exacerbated this problem? And
I'm sure.
Somebody's doing weird stuff and sitting in the cube next to you, you can figure it out. But if they're like on their own couch, it's harder.
That's 100%. It's harder to manage, I think, in a lot of ways, and that can be very useful for people, right? I think working from home, especially for like the neurodivergent community, is extremely helpful and wonderful. But yeah, it creates different challenges for a security team.
Being very neurospicy myself, I absolutely agree. Like I've been remote since 2011.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was one of the first remote employees at the bank I worked at, and they had to send me like a Cisco router, like a hard router to put in my house to be able to access their systems. Yeah, it was cool because they hired me, and then I was like, hey, I'm moving to a ranch on 40 acres in the middle of nowhere, and so you're going to have to try to figure out how to get me secure access to this environment.
That's hilarious and amazing.
Yeah, but it is like working remotely it's a godsend, but it's also a risk, and like you never know when somebody's bouncing between coffee shops and different places, like all the different weird stuff they could be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And unknowingly, I think one of the biggest things that we see is people creating risk and they don't realize it. It's somebody out at Black Hat who needs to get something done really quickly, so they go get a new AI tool and don't realize that you're actually putting in proprietary data into a public repo, right? So it's so much of it is accidental or negligence.
Yeah, well, and if you tell AI to optimize for something, it's going to optimize for that thing. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, it's like, humans understand, I shouldn't do this. Like AI doesn't understand I should or I shouldn't. It just understands I can and I can't.
Yep. Yes, that's a good, I like that. Yeah, that's right.
All right, so what do you have going on the rest of the week?
Yeah, so of course we're not going for DEF CON, unfortunately. We're just going to go out the rest of the show and continue to have conversations about insider risk. It's been a big topic of conversation on the floor, so it's just more exciting stuff.
That's awesome. Tricia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. This was awesome.
Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
I know, it was like, we're so colorful for people. To learn more about Above Security, you can visit securityweekly.com/AboveBH, like Black Hat. And for full Black Hat 2026 coverage from the Cyber Risk Alliance, visit securityweekly.com/Black Hat. Stick around. We'll be back after the break with more.